Hello all, Manny the Dragon Tamer Team Forbidden, and I guess we are here with my top 10, I wouldn't say best, but I guess our favorite profiles. I guess this has been a thing going around, so I'm coming to it later than other people have. It's taken me a while because if you can see on the channel, I don't really have that many profiles. I don't really have that many decks on there. I'm super picky on decks I want to make. But for the first off, for number 10, I have Invoked. Invoked has always been that one archetype that has always caught my interest just for the fact that it has the fun play style of always having good recursion with Alistair always searching out invocation, and back to Alistair, and basically, getting yourself that steady loop of always having advantage, especially when you get to mess with your opponent's resources to fusion summon out your boss monsters. So it's always been something in my mind that I wanted to make, but I haven't had the chance up until now that I made Dogmatica Invoked. Dogmatica's alright. I had other ideas. I wanted to make a dumb deck idea of Albaz control. I'm just going to fusion summon off your thing every chance I get, because, with Fallen of Albaz, you have basically 6 super polys in your deck now because of it. So that was going to be a fun idea until I was roped into making Dogmatica Invoked. So number 9, I have Red Dragon Archfiend and the Resonators. Red Dragon Archfiend has always been one of my favorite synchro monsters. That's why it's always been a prominent boss monster in my rocket decks, especially when you get called for time and you summon Scarlight for game just for that burn win. On top of, there's also Abyss. Who remembers summoning Abyss with Augur Pain and doing all that dumb stuff? Everyone ran Augur Pain for that short format before Augur Pain got hit, and then off the face of the earth, no one ran it anymore until, only if you're ballsy enough to try and go into it. That's why I have it in Rockets. Everything's Dark Dragons. It goes into it easy. You can make it off of either Scarlight or Borreload Savage if they somehow get rid of the Borreload Savage with your Rocket Synchron. Number 8, I have Galaxy Photon. I've always liked Galaxy Eyes and the fact that it has strong rank 8s, especially with something like Neo Galaxy Eyes, who blanket negates everything if it's summoned with Galaxy Eyes as a material. I have the ulti, so, personal flex. A lot of the ultis I have look amazing. But, what ultimate cards don't, considering we don't have them anymore. Sad face, cry. Why could we cry every time? And considering we lost half the rarities and Japan's rarities doubled. So, sad face for us.
Rough.
We're only getting something like collectors right now, but they've had that for the longest time on top of alternate versions of ultis and all that other stuff. So it's why can't we have nice stuff?
Rude.
We're the second biggest consumer of Yu-Gi-Oh after Japan, and they do us dirty like that? Like if you cry every time. F in the comments, everyone. F in the chat. For number 7, I have Dinosaurs. I've always liked the dinosaur archetype. I've always liked how big a lot of the Tyranno monsters are. So when the structure deck came out, I instantly just fell in love with getting the dinosaur deck and making fun of Brian and Eric with their Ancient Gears. Because Ancient Gears no good. There's a reason why no one plays them, and dinos are still competitive now. Let's be real here, everyone. And speaking of real, I'm going back to Galaxy Eyes a bit here, because, I know all you degenerates back in the rank 4 toolbox days would always use Thrasher as that free summon to go into your rank 4s. I know who all you are. I know all of you there. Next on the list I have for number 5, Kaiju. Well, come on. You can see from me and Scott, we're fanboys for the Kaiju archetype in general. All of us are, really. Mm-hmm. If I were to bring every one of my Kaiju movies, I would probably have this table filled up with Godzilla, Gamera, Kong, and other Kaiju movies here. I just love that a lot of the monsters are based off the actual movie monsters that we know and love. If only they can make a Kong one. Come on, he's the first Kaiju. How do you not make a Kong Kaiju? Next, I have Dangers. Why the Dangers? I've always been a big fan of cryptids. I've always liked hearing the stories and myths of stuff like the Bigfoot, like Chupacabra, like Thunderbird, like Dogman, like the Rake, like all that stuff. So it always caught my interest to play them in my own way. Because if you ask the collector or Scott or any of them here, you'll see that I just summon them as big beat sticks to run over everything. I don't use them as like, oh, friggin' firewall FTK, cannon soldier. No, I don't do that, no. Why use them off as link material if you already have free big monster summons? After the dangers, I have the mighty, the invincible engine of destruction, the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Blue Eyes was my first official physical deck that I made back in college when I first met John, Eric, and all of them, and before I met with Andrew and Scott and all of them after and joined the team. If Andrew still has his old binder, he'll see my thing under Blue Galaxy Archfiend as this random hodgepodge Blue Eyes deck I made before officially making it the Blue Eyes meta of 2016. Which, like I said right now for Galaxy Eyes, keep an eye on the channel for. Me and Scott are going to try and do a double profile if he's free. So depending on what comes first, everyone doing their top 10 or me getting into contact with Scott and us doing the double profile, check out that for. I'll show you some little things I did to piss off everyone in the college, so watch out for that. After Blue Eyes, I have the Draco Slayer / Draco Overlords. Back in my Draco Slayer profile, I had said the one reason I always wanted to make the deck was because of Ignister, the Synchro. I loved his design. I loved how he looked as an ultimate rare. Like, it definitely screams like this is a dragon. This is dragon armor. This is definitely an archetype boss monster. Because when you look at the fusion or the Xyz, he is the strongest one out of the three and has the best effect of spinning something back into the deck without targeting and free summon from the deck. Like I said before, I never really liked playing pendulums up until now because I didn't like the playstyle of I'm just going to pop everything on the board and then pen summon 5 to do whatever shenaniganry we have to deal with back before the Link era. So that's why I kind of like playing pendulums now, because it takes that extra thought of, okay, I got to manage my zones, I got to work with my resources, I got to set up everything correctly, I got to get everything, basically you play checkers, I play chess, I'm thinking 5 moves ahead to try and get to the board I want. And I just like the Draco Slayer designs in general. I've always liked when, for all of you people who play stuff like the Monster Hunter series or anything from like the Demon Souls or Bloodborne series and all that, I've always liked the armor that has the dragon aesthetic to it, which is what has caught my attention from all of it. For number 2, we have everyone's favorite waifus, the Dragon Maids. Who don't love these best girls? Even Kayla even convinced the collector to start watching the anime, so.
You're welcome.
Exactly. Brian says he's making them because he watched the anime. I'm having a sneaking suspicion that the collector might watching the anime, so who knows? I just like how they're a middle ground of you can combo an OTK or you could set up a field and control. Because, sitting on Heavenly Spheres plus 2/3 back row scares a lot of people. Just for the fact that Heavenly Spheres non-target removes on top of, hey, here's your shenanigans, here's your nurse, here's your chamber, you plus, now you get to bounce them back and everything and just do all that stuff over again. I just love it. Like I was saying before with the Invoked archetype, the fact that everything works with like incredible synergy of it gives you everything back just to do that play again and just do it over and over to the point that it's super fun. I just love messing with people with that deck. And last but not least, the archetype that contains my mascot monster Borload, the Rockets. And no, I'm not including Dragon Link, I'm not including Black Metal, Red Eyes, Tempest Turbo, Let's Go, Pendulum, Best Deck, none of that stuff, no. Like that whole crap of, just deck thin with Dark Worm, summon Red Eyes, Black Metal Dragon, link it up, no, none of that. Rockets. Rockets. By themselves, they are great. And that's why people take them for the core of Dragon Link. If you take out Rockets in general, there will probably not be a Dragon meta out there. There will not be. Just for the fact of how great they are in bringing out materials for links, setting up good levels for ranks or synchro. Tracer is one of the best tuners in my opinion, just for the fact that it can summon out a monster from the deck and just basically set you up for Savage if you already went through your other combos. Hence why, you know, with all my profiles, you see that it's just pure rockets or chaos rockets or, you know, rockets. Like you see, I don't have Dragon Link, I don't have Tempest, I don't have the Guard Dragon, I don't have any of that. I like to see the decks as they are themselves. I like to see how they can work out. Not like, oh, let's just make it better with just this generic thing that's on here. Like, of course, any Dragon deck's going to be better with Guard Dragons. You know, anybody can unga bunga bring that. But, you know, but to, like, actually work with the deck and understand what it can do on its own, with its own power, that's what can bring out its true potential. That's why you know, every time I've come here with Rockets, it's always something new. Like, it's similar, but it can always come out with something new and different. That's why it has, like, different ending boards. Like, when I had my 2.0, it had the ending board of Borreload, Furious Diffusion, Savage, and Unchained. And on this one, my 3.0, you have Bardiche with Savage and Requiem. And if you're lucky to top deck Dragon's Mirror, well, you could also have Furious. You can definitely make a board with what you could just work with. You know, just like that's always been my thing. I like to work with the deck as its own, with its own power, and then add, you know, just sprinkle in the things that could just give it that little oomph. Not, you know, like, oh, here's Leaps and Bounds because of Guard Dragons, here's Leaps and Bounds because of Levianeer, here's, you know, anybody can do that. But, you know, just trying to find, like, that extra little thing to give you that little, you know, just makes it worth it, you know? That's why I've always had this I love-hate relationship with the Guard Dragons. Like, I love that they can generically help any Dragon deck, but I also hate that you can't look up any Dragon deck without seeing them in it, without realizing and seeing how that deck works in the first place without the Guard Dragons. That's why I'm so passionate on, like, what can this deck do on its own before I add extenders, before I add something that synergizes with it, anything like that. But anyways, that's my top 10. Hope you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And please stay safe out there, and see you guys.